First up, let's ask a very pertinent question. Will there be an end to the ongoing war in Gaza? Well, there has been a recent flurry of activity around the talks, with a boost of optimism about progress. Hamas has said it will announce its approval to the latest proposal for a ceasefire and hostage release deal in the next few hours. According to multiple reports, a deal is close. They also say the United States has guaranteed Israel will withdraw all troops from Gaza upon completion of the third phase of the agreement, a condition to which Israel has repeatedly refused. The report quotes anonymous sources in Hamas as saying that there have been frequent communications between the Egyptian and Qatari mediators and the Hamas and Israeli delegations. The reports come hours after the US CIA director William Burns arrived in the Egyptian capital. The latest efforts to halt almost 7 months of war with Israel come as, since the breakout of the war, a major stumbling block to the ceasefire talks has been that Hamas has demanded a lasting ceasefire. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to crush its remaining fighters in the far southern city of Rafah, which is packed with displaced civilians. On the other hand, a top Hamas official has accused the Israeli Prime Minister of trying to derail the proposed Gaza truce and hostage release deal, with his continuous threats to keep fighting the militants. As negotiations continue to halt the war in Gaza, Israel's longtime ally, the United States, will host Jordan's king next week. According to the White House press secretary, President Joe Biden will host Jordan's King Abdullah II. The meeting is said to be private, which will be followed by a readout. While from within the United States, scores of lawmakers from President Biden's Democratic Party have raised their concerns that they believe there is sufficient evidence to show that Israel has violated the U.S. law by restricting humanitarian aid flows into the war-stricken Gaza. A letter signed to Biden, signed by some 90 members of Congress, well, they say Israel's aid restrictions call into question the assurances that it was complying with the U.S. Foreign Assistance Act provision. Under this, the recipients of the U.S.-funded arms are required to uphold international humanitarian law and allow free flows of U.S. assistance. Meanwhile, the EU diplomacy chief, Josep Borrell, says Europe needs a united stance on the ongoing war. He says Europe needs to take action and not just voice their stance on declarations.
If we believe that the two-state solution is the only solution, then the international community has to engage much more, taking this not as the starting point, but as the end game point. And we have to tell to the ones who say that they don't want the two-state solution, what do they want? Yes, you don't want it. What is your solution then?
Now, India has issued a travel advisory for its nationals in Israel. In light of the recent events in the region, India has urged its nationals to stay calm and adhere to the safety protocols issued by local authorities. Months after the war in West Asia broke out, the hostage situation remains grim. According to reports, an Israeli who was thought to have been abducted by Hamas during the October 7th attacks has been declared dead by officials after his body was found in Israel. While on the war front, the militant group Hamas has released footage of them fighting from South Lebanon. Hamas's armed wing said its militants in Lebanon's south launched a slew of rockets at a northern Israeli military position. The latest attack comes in fact as its powerful Lebanese ally, the Hezbollah, has exchanged near daily fire with Israeli forces across the border. Now, on the maritime front, Yemen's Houthi rebels have yet again threatened that they will extend their attacks on Israel-bound ships to the Mediterranean. Houthis, who say they are acting in support of Palestinians in the Israel-Hamas war, said the escalation would take effect immediately. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.